once it hits your lips, it's so good.
We started?
Yes.
Oh,
Hello.
okay.
Welcome back to another
Egg popping sound.
Two Drinks In.
Two drinks in.
I'm, of course, Jamin, near and dear to my heart, Bassette, joined by James the Yellow Dart. Bassette.
Still not wearing yellow.
Still not wearing yellow. In fact, probably the polar opposite. Close, because white is the polar
I'm
opposite.
pretty sure I don't own anything yellow.
You don't. We totally have to go back to Uniqlo and get you some yellow shirts. Especially
Yeah.
while they're still on sale.
Yeah. We should get like a plain yellow one and like draw a dart on it
There
in
you
the
go.
back and put like a number and then yellow dart, like a jersey or something.
There you go. Anyways, we're here to talk about a topic that I would say probably is the furthest away from being near and dear to my heart, but it's one that it definitely fits what we're trying to do here with the concept of Two Drinks In. So, I'm a student of history. I'm big on history. My undergraduate major was Asian Studies with an emphasis on history. Here I am now international relations major, and where 90% of what I do is study history and apply it to a contemporary setting. I love history.
Yes, you do.
And unlike a lot of people, I always like to view history in terms of the people that lived it. I know a lot of people that look back and say things like, oh, how could there ever have been slavery? There was slavery because there's a lot of greedy people that wanted cheap labor. Like it's not that hard, people. They had no concept of emancipation. They had no concept of human rights. That is recent creations. That is a recent achievements in human
It's like the discussion
interaction.
we kind of have about the whole Adam and Eve thing. Where we go, oh, you stupid people, you ate the fruit. It's like, well, in that situation, we learn from their mistake. Would we have been any different?
Exactly.
Looking over all of history, there might be a few that you're like, okay, that guy was legit crazy. But we know that now because of their mistake. We learned from it.
I first had this epiphany actually when I was studying John and Clausewitz, who was two most influential generals that served under Napoleon. The one went on to become a very famous author that became basically the father of modern military science, especially in the Western world. Came from Clausewitz. Anyone who's ever read On War, that's Clausewitz. And Germany also became very... well, anyone who went to West Point probably did. Germany, of course, had a very different theory on military tradition, which still floats out there somewhere, especially in some places in Europe. But when I was studying Napoleon, I admired the crap out of the guy. Like, as I was reading about him, he did some awful things, and I'm like, you know what? He did some awful things, but if I was French at that time, living during that period, and this guy came out and promised these things and could deliver on these things, I totally would have followed him to war. The guy was charismatic as heck. He was smart. He was tactful. My gosh.
Things you don't associate with the French.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
Don't get me started on Genghis Khan. That's a whole different conversation. Why Genghis Khan, I think, is probably the coolest and most underrated person in history, outside of biblical history, of course.
Right.
But here we're talking about a very different subject. As I said, this was just a jumping off point. The very dark conclusion I came to when I was actually having a conversation with a German friend of mine, as you know, our heritage is half German. I was talking to a German friend of mine. Our family prides itself a lot on protecting the family. Mm-hmm. We pride ourselves a lot on taking care of the family, about putting family first, about
trying to.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our families.
Yeah.
Both sides.
And we're really big on protecting what's in our borders, as it were.
Yeah.
And probably the political party that most exemplified that, they got elected on a bill very close to that. The idea of building up the country, building up those who are you, protecting you from those that aren't one of you, was the Nazi Party. All the crazy, stupid, awful things they did came long after they got elected, long after they came to power. The push that they used to get into power and the things that they said and used to get into power were very much things that are very important to our family. The idea of protection, the idea of justice, the idea
it's very important to most families.
Exactly. Well, not the history lesson for all you guys out there. After the Treaty of Versailles, basically France blamed Germany for everything, even though it was technically Austria-Hungary's fault. And they forced Germany to pay back France for all that France had spent during the war. And Germany couldn't pay it, obviously. They were devastated themselves. So France basically completely destroyed the German economy in the name of national pride. I don't know what was going on at the time. They were national enemies. You know how that goes. Mm-hmm. Germany was left completely devastated, to the point where money was worth more burning it than it was using it to buy things. There was over 400,000% inflation. That'd be like $1 right now.
Oh, snap.
That'd be like $1 right now being worth 1/10 of a cent in one night. Congratulations. All the money I've saved is now worthless. It was devastating. And so this party comes along and says, hey, all these guys that are hating on you, that are ruining your lives just because you're German, we're going to put a stop to that. We're going to build back up our army. We're going to build back up our country. We're going to take back all that they took away from us. All that they unlawfully took away from them. The only claim that France had to these rights was that they were on the side of the victors. And I know France sacrificed a lot of good young men there in the trenches, but the only reason France won is because they had the UK and the US to back them up. France, you did not win that war on your own volition. You definitely didn't deserve all those repercussions, but that's a retrospect thing.
Yeah.
Spoil goes to the victors. Yeah, we get it. So if our great-grandfather came over to the States before World War I happened. He ended up getting drafted in to the First World War on the side of the U.S. And we're having this discussion. If he had just waited so many years and got drafted then to the German army, had survived the war, stayed there in Germany, become bitter and disenfranchised by the way Germany was treated, our family probably would have been Nazis. You know how messed up that is?
Kind of, sort of, a lot.
Oh, man.
Drinks in.
2 drinks in. This is the kind of conversation I like to start. 2 drinks in. Of course, we love goofy topics. We love fun topics. This is a serious one, a reflective one. How circumstance really can play a lot in the way a person's life can play out. And that's not an excuse for everything. Obviously, not everyone in Germany became Nazi. In fact, only a fraction of the population became Nazis. Even some of the most prominent generals, like Rommel. Our family is a Rommel, so we're distantly related to him.
Rommel.
Rommel is the U.S. pronunciation of Rommel.
I know.
He never joined the Nazi Party. In fact, he was probably the highest-ranking general in the German military that never switched over to the party. He had his own priorities, his own volitions, but chances are our family probably would have ended up there. And it's only by the grace of God that we do it.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. But obviously, it wouldn't be technically our family, because if you never came over, then, mom and dad never met. True. We would have been here. I mean, grandparents and everything.
True.
So obviously the line would be completely different.
Completely.
But in the sense of
that lineage,
yeah, we would have been Nazis, and more than likely, anyways. And it's definitely something interesting to think about.
Some dark stuff, some heavy stuff, but that's what 2 Drinks In is all about. Not just light stuff, the heavy stuff as well.
Yes.
And when you're going through history, again, I love history.
Yes,
in fact, there's probably only very few people in this world that love history from a purely hobby sense, not just academic sense, but from a, oh man, I wonder why Koreans use gochujang. I wonder what kimchi was like before there was gochujang. Like, very few people love history of everything, even history of words. Mia always gets mad whenever I ask her, oh, why is the word this way? Is it from Chinese origin? Is it from traditional Korean origin? She always gets upset when I ask that.
It's always Korean. Chinese suck. I've noticed something that I didn't notice when I was back in the States, and that Asian culture in general is very, we are the birth. We are the true Asians. So in Korea, it's we are the Japanese, the Chinese, all of them. Not them. And then you got the Chinese like no, it's us.
Okay, that's a whole nother two drinks in.
Whole other two drinks in.
But he's absolutely right. But I say this to the wraparound point. Look back at history. Look back at your own family's history. Where are some places where your family is? We take pride in the fact that our family was here after the whole slavery thing. And we were here before the whole Nazi thing. We literally dodged two of the biggest white guilt bullets out there. Our family's pretty lucky. And I'm not saying that as like a boo boo. You can't call me racist. It's just a purely by the grace of God, pure luck. It turned out that way.
And they can't call you racist because your wife isn't white. So I mean,
my wife is Asian. I have a interracial marriage. So I know, but that doesn't like. It's okay. I know Asian people.
My wife is Asian, so I'm definitely not racist against black people. It's so true.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. But
and that's a big butt.
Big butt. She does not have a big butt.
No, not her. God.
But look back at history. Look back at your own family's history, your own family's lineage. What are some,
all of you Bassettes out there.
All you Bassettes out there. What's some bullets that you dodged? What's some things that when you think about and you reflect about that really make you go, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky I wound up where I was, or my family wound up where they was at the right time. And it's, you
my family where they was.
What? I can English, okay?
Yes, you are. Anyways, continue the series.
Well, your family wound up where they were, and go family singular where the family was. I am right. Shut up. You can English. Okay. Anyways, this got way off topic. I probably edit this whole in, but
yeah, just edit this entire part.
You guys back at home. You guys back at home. Think about where you're from, where your family's going,
where they was,
and post there in the comments. Talk about
all four of you.
All four of you. Family. All four of you. Talk about it there in the comments. Talk about some of those dark revelations. Some of those. Oh my gosh! I'm so glad we didn't do this. I'm so glad my family didn't wind up here situations. And be thankful. Count your blessings. People like to think about all the negative things that are going on in the present. Think about all the great things that happened in the past that prevented your family from going down a very bad line. And I'll leave you with that. So join us next time on Two Drinks In. Hopefully the next topic will be a little more lighthearted.
Yes.
A little lighthearted. And talk to y'all later. Love ya. Bye-bye.